Hello, nerds! Welcome to Adventures in Photography, episode number 9. Yes, we got the episode number issue all figured out. Yeah, this is gonna be Denver Comic-Con, so I'm finishing the pack-up. We're gonna run through pack-up. This is technically the day before, so I've got my badges. We're gonna go over my shot list. And yeah, so let's hit up an intro real quick, shall we?
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Koenig.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Packing up all the stuff. Let's go over the stuff real quick. Oh, I forgot the other part of this monopod is a tripod that it rests in, and it's inside, so I'll grab that off camera. But flip around. Wow. Yeah, it's a little noisy, but it'll do. So we've got main bag. This is a new surprise that we're going to get into tomorrow. We have the backup bag right there. We've got portable audio should we need it. It's the Tascam. It's a beautiful thing. Right there we have backup tripod. That is going to be for the T1. Extension cable. Light rig. You can't really see it there. Here you go. This bag right here has all the lights in it. This is extra light just in case we need it. The homemade guy. I'm shooting on the T7. The T1's in here. The Nikon is in here. And action camera's in here. Ooh, hey, we almost forgot the Kodak. So let's go get the other tripod, and then we'll go over the shot list. Haha. Okay, so this in my heat nest box, it's actually the perfect size. We've got the Kodak in here, and this is for some nefarious purposes. Hopefully not too nefarious, so that we can continue to cover Denver Comic-Con. But this is the DL pack, and then this is the other part of the tripod, or the other part of the monopod that I'm using for the vlogging purposes. This is actually really great, and I talked about this at Starfest. This part, though, since Starfest, which is what locks the monopod portion into the tripod, has not worked like it should. So I meant to take it apart between then and now. I just haven't had the time. So it still functions. I still get what I need out of it. So it's not like it's the end of the world. But otherwise, this is a brilliant tripod. We're going to have to affix that to the bag. Alright, so the purpose of this first portion is for shots, right? So let's go over our shot list. Our goals for Denver Comic-Con, and hopefully I get more than just these things, but it's a good start. So first off, we have cosplay, obviously. That's kind of a given at Comic-Con. I'm gonna try for some street style shots, outside and inside. So outside of the convention hall and inside of the convention hall, and then vendor shots. And then actual street shots. Since it's downtown Denver, I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunity to get some legitimate street photography. Also, because we're in downtown Denver and I still need to make up for the Dink shoot, we're going to try for some architecture and then also some shots inside panels. And then our last goal for Comic-Con this weekend is celebrity shots. Now, I'm not going to pay for celebrity shots. And some of you might be wondering, well, you've got the media badges. Why is that a goal? Why is that going to be difficult? Because my status as media is pretty minor. Oh, that's a little close. It's pretty minor. I'm just a little YouTube / podcast channel. I'm not anything crazy, so they only let me get in for free, effectively. I have to do all of the interview footwork on my own. They don't set anything up for me. So that means I don't really have all that much ability to get close enough to celebs that it'll make sense to get shots. Now, how we're going to define celebs is probably going to depend on how well we do with the shooting. So, I don't know. But that's all we got for pre-con stuff. Next time you see me is going to be rolling to the convention first thing in the morning. Oh, okay. Haven't checked in as much today as I wanted to for Adventures in Photography, but we've been getting shots. So that's the important part. So you just saw a couple. We just finished our first shoot of the convention. And we also just came up those stairs. So I'm a little out of breath, but yeah, I feel like I've actually knocked off quite a few of our checklists today. I have to go back and look at all the footage and double check the checklist itself to know exactly what, but you just saw it, so who cares? Oh, next we are going to do some stuff on the floor, which you also just saw a little bit of footage, but I'm going to try and get some actual snaps this time because we were walking through testing out the new Steadicam rig that I built out of PVC, which actually works really, really well. So I probably am going to do a video all about that. Anyway, let's go hit the floor. Adventures in Photography, Denver Comic-Con 2018. Oh my lord. So the Rokina, well, I don't even remember the name of the brand of the tripod that we got for Starfest, I believe. I might have got it for Dink, but I definitely talked about it in the Starfest videos. The head just broke. $30 tripod, Ravielli? Something. $30 tripod. So maybe I got my 30 bucks out of it, and that's kind of what happens. But so what have we learned today for Adventures in Photography is always carry a backup. Thankfully, I did bring the backup tripod. I just got to go out to the car to get it. but I get to take pictures of the next panel instead of video recording it. And I'm still just kind of upset about that tripod, but let's take some pictures. Day 2 for adventures coming to an end. We're going to eat right now, so I still feel like there's some shots I can get, hence why I'm bringing the camera. Some interesting architecture shit, I feel like, and maybe a couple of street shots since there's random nerds parsed out along downtown Denver, and it's Pride weekend, so I feel like there's gonna be something that I can get there as well. So that's what we're doing now. Adventures in Photography for Day 3, Denver Comic Con 2018. I just shot a couple of Nikon shots, which hopefully you were just looking at. And so far, let's double check our list, since that way we can narrow down what we're shooting today. I got cosplay, that was an easy one. We got street shots, I did that yesterday. Haven't done any on the floor though, so that's one we still gotta get. Vendor shots we still gotta get. Then the actual street that we got that yesterday as well. Architecture, got a couple of those yesterday too. Panel shots, got some of those on the first day. And celeb shots, that I'm still debating what I'm counting as a celebrity. So maybe I got them, maybe I don't. But either way, we're making good headway. I've only got a couple of things that I have to shoot on the list. Thanks, pup. And right now I'm just waiting for my client. So let's rock and roll. Now that we are home, is the end of this adventure in photography. Let's go over quick, because I know I said I wasn't going to, I hadn't decided rather what I was going to count as a celebrity. So I counted Christopher Paolini, because it's kind of a world famous author, so that's celebrity. I didn't take pictures of Andrew Bowser and What's Her Toes from The Nerdist, but I got video of them, so that counts. And then also probably the one that I counted first was the Aquabats, because I love the Aquabats. They're great. Let's go over the shots one last time. We got cosplay, totally taken care of. That was the first shots that we took. street shots outside of the vendor floor. There were a couple of those. I made one of them black and white because it seemed better that way. I was editing it, and I really dug the framing of it and the composition, but the color seemed to lack depth. And so when I took the color out, it just worked. In the street style shots inside, that was the crowds and stuff. The vendor shots, again, I turned one of those, or the one that I put in the video anyway, black and white, because same reason. It just seemed like the composition worked and everything, but the coloring was off. So I took the color out, and it was right where I wanted it to be. On the actual street shots, we talked about that already. Architecture shots, I got a couple more than I put in the video, but the one that I put in the video was by far my favorite. It was just the way that building was standing out. Totally worked for me. Panel shots, I didn't get any great panel shots. I did get a couple in Paolini, which is what I put in the video, but I don't know. I feel like for the next Comic-Con, I'm gonna try and get something a little more composed, because these panel shots that I got just seem like snapshots. So I'm not happy with what I got, but I did get them. And celebrity shots we just talked about. Also, I almost forgot. I didn't say, like, I kind of mentioned in passing, but I didn't officially make it one of the checklist things. Even though in my head it was a checklist item, was Nikon shots. Those were labeled, even though we didn't talk about them. So the Nikon shots, while the T7 was doing the time lapse, because I did like 3 time lapses in one spot, and it didn't, because the first 2 didn't really turn out like I wanted them to. The third one didn't either, but it's because of the limitations of the camera, and not because of me not knowing what I'm doing necessarily. Like, that's what I was doing with the first 2, was just fighting with settings. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Nikon. The Nikon shots, I have been using the Nikon a little more frequently, and I feel like I understand it better, and now I'm getting really great shots with that. So the Predator dude, I got the Link, the Zelda group, the Big Daddy with the splicer from BioShock, that was all on the Nikon, and the Firefly group were shot on the Nikon. Again, they were labeled, but I'm really quite proud of that. So the reason, for any of you, if this is the first time you're watching the Adventures in Photography, the reason that's a thing is because it's a Nikon D200. The Nikon D200 is a 10 megapixel DSLR that is quite old. I believe it came out in like 2008, maybe 2007, somewhere around there. So there's no video capabilities. It's strictly picture camera, and I don't know, I for a long time didn't know exactly how to use it. I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, but after really getting to know how to do photography and really getting to know that style of camera, because Nikon and Canon are so different, and I primarily have been shooting on Canons, this T7 that I film with and the T1 that I started with, which is my girlfriend's, they're pretty different beasts. So that's why the Nikon is noteworthy. That's why I always make it a point, or try and always make it a point with the Adventures in Photography videos to shoot with the Nikon, is so that A, I can expand my skills as a photographer, but also B, I can show anyone who's out there with a who's brand new to taking pictures, who's brand new to photography, show them that really the camera doesn't make you a good photographer. If you have a Canon 1DX Mark II, like Peter McKinnon and a bunch of other big photographers on YouTube use, just because you have that camera doesn't mean you're going to be taking good pictures. I'm using a Nikon that's over a decade old, and I'm still getting some good pictures. Sure, the resolution isn't gigantic because it's only 10 megapixels, and the 1DX Mark II is 50. So the actual image size is significantly smaller, but there's an f-stoppers video I'll link to in the description that kind of breaks down your megapixels, and if you want to blow up a picture to a billboard size, technically, you only need about 3 or 4 megapixels. I think the example they use in the f-stoppers video is 2 megapixels. So going by that frame of logic, I have in the Nikon, which is 10, I have about 5 times too many megapixels for blowing up to mega size. So yeah, that's the idea behind using the Nikon and why I make it a point in the videos. So that is the entire list, guys. If there is something you would rather see me shoot in an adventure in photography, let's talk about that down in the comment section. Stay tuned to Adventures in Photography, because next we're going to New Orleans, and that's probably going to turn into 2 videos. So I'm going to be in New Orleans for 5 days in about a week from the posting of this video. So less than a week from the posting of this video. So stay tuned for that, and if there's something you want to see from New Orleans, also put that in the description, or also put that in the comments, because I do the description and you do the comments, whatever. So there's that. I'm going to do social media blast probably for the next few days, all about my adventures in New Orleans. So yeah, contribute. Let's see what we can get, and let's see if we can become better photographers. Thank you guys for watching Generally Nerdy. And before we end anything, guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here. And sometimes we take pictures.